That's my grandfather and grandmother. And there's Uncle Harry. He was the oldest. He was a midget. That was Angelette Bynum. She lived with them. Housekeeper and took care of them.
Wow, what year was this, you think?
So it's somewhere in the late 1880s.
And that was here at this farm, too?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Grandmother died in 34.
Yeah.
Our grandfather Norwood, he died when I was 6, so Britt would have been 5, or right before Britt's.
I remember him. I don't remember him well. He was sick pretty much the whole time I remember him.
And what was his name?
Shock.
Yeah.
Alpheus Romeo.
Yes.
That's what everybody called him Shock.
Yeah, he was a neat guy. He was real structured, and I guess you would say he was congenial, but when I say structured, when he said when he was going to take a rest, he closed the door, and we knew not to disturb him during that time. We push the limit.
He lived with you. I mean,
He did.
We were all in the same
Yes,
house,
he
right?
lived right here. This was his room. This is what we turned it into the den after he passed away. But this was his room. He had his bed and dresser and settee in there. But when he closed this door, over here opened into the kitchen, and this one came in from what was the living room. And when he closed those doors, you knew you didn't disturb him.
Right.
He had lemon drops. He always kept in his drawer. And you didn't go in his drawer, but if he gave you one. And when he said, that's all, he meant it. You didn't beg him for another. Our father was born in 1893, so his standards were more like back in the 1800s rather than, he was not as progressive in some things. And he didn't think there was a certain place for girls to be and a certain place for men and boys to be. I always wanted to go to the pharmacy exchange, and I could never go because I was a girl. That was not the place for girls to go back, when he grew up. But Britt got to go to the pharmacy exchange, and I couldn't go because I was a girl.
Before we started dairy farming, he sold insurance up in the mountains.
Oh, okay.
And then when the Depression hit, my grandmother was sick. His mother was sick. She was an invalid, and so he came home and to take care of her and start farming. My grandfather and my daddy's brothers were farming near them. That's my daddy and his 3 brothers. Daddy's older brother, Harry, was a midget.
Oh.
And he had a candy shop in Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow.
And according to Lamont, he had behind the counter, he had a platform built so he could walk back and forth down the counter, to help get your candy out. And he was up eye level with the top of the counter. He died in 1930.
Before
36, I believe. And then this one, it was Ben Ross, who was killed in a hunting accident. He came home from college. He was 21 years old. This is Uncle Grady, and that's Daddy.
Okay.
But, Uncle Grady ran a grocery store.
Uncle Grady had a grocery store in Pittsburgh, too, and then he had one in Salem. Daddy worked some part-time in the wintertime at the hardware store.
Pittsburgh Hardware.
Helped them with accounting, bookkeeping, and that kind of thing. I never knew exactly, but he worked in the office doing accounting, bookkeeping, I guess, recording records for him.
Now, what year was the original farmhouse built?
Somewhere in the mid-1880s, 1885 something. But it wasn't this house that you see in these pictures, because the kitchen and the den and all that was the original house, and then all the rest of it was added on in 1921. When Daddy and Uncle Grady came home from war. And Daddy and Uncle Grady and both of them's wives and children all lived here with grandmother and granddaddy Well, grandmother was dead by that time. Before any of them.
And I guess Aunt Carl and Uncle Grady had married then, had they?
Yeah,
But
when
yeah,
Ross
yeah.
was born. Yeah, Ross and Jim were born. Jim
Jim,
Pearl and Grady,
yes, they would have been married, wouldn't they? Before
they were married in 27. When
Yeah,
Ross
they
was
did.
born, 28.
Mm-hmm.
Jim was born in 32.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what they had, two families, can you imagine? Two brothers and two sisters,
And their daddy.
and their father, and then, now let's see, Jim and Ross were born, and I was born, so there were three children.
I was born, Grady said, I can't take it anymore, I'm leaving. Getting too crowded in here.
The house was a big house, but still, that's a lot.
There's 14 rooms in that house. Yeah, in 1996, Hurricane Fran came through, took the top off the old house. And I had some contractors come out and looked at it, and the rafters where the ceiling was tore off were pine poles. They weren't solid rafters. And I couldn't get a contractor to even touch it. He said, I'm not gonna mess with it.
Well, it had about 3 layers of roof on
Yeah,
top.
it did.
Mm-hmm. Probably had asbestos.
He said, Bridget, better off tearing down. He said, there's nothing there to save.